What's going on, people? Tonight, we're going to get into the millionaire conversation, the path to wealth in 4 steps. It's going to be a little different, it's going to be fun, and we're going to have a little chit chat about certain things as they go down in terms of starting a business. There's a lot of hustler porn online where you have people, because I get people who do this to me. It's like, hey, Glendon, no, and here's the question: are you a millionaire? Now, the fact that the question is asked means you think I'm full of shit. So just because you polite about it doesn't mean it's a fucked up thing. So I'm gonna all of that stuff while people are selling you that, because I give you real and actionable steps and things on this channel that you can actually use and make money for real. Thousands of people have done this, but it's kind of like the pretty girl syndrome, where you might have someone who's really good, but because this internal skank, on the outside she looks great, but internally she's a skank, that is more appealing to you because it satisfies your ego. That's kind of like hustler porn. Hustler's porn is, the fancy car, it's the house, it's being on the beach in some exotic location at one of the quote masterminds. It makes me wonder how people built businesses before this stuff even happened, because the mastermind my partner and I had with our physical business was us sitting down every morning. Okay, this is what we're going to do. These are the steps. These are the goals, right? Was none of this stuff. And no, I cannot dab. I saw some politician dab, and I was like, okay, you're definitely not going to get elected unless you have a lot of young folks. But that was how it is. And for those of you who are impatient, I'm going to give you the 4 steps so you can exit the room. How's that? I mean, that's pretty cool, I would assume, right? Pretty fun, right? So the first step, the path to wealth, number 1 step, everyone has to do this unless they're doing shit illegal or they're manipulating the system. That doesn't count. But the first path is service. You must be of some type of service to whomever your target market is. You got to be of service. You have to bring something to the marketplace that people need and that will serve people. It could be a service, it could be a product, it could be a play, it could be a movie, it could be a song, anything that can serve people. That's the first step. No magic jelly beans, none of those. The second step for the impatient people: structure. This is structure or infrastructure. How you build your structure, your pipeline, your rails for your business will determine its growth. You've got to have the right infrastructure to grow the way that you want to. You can have a great ideal, you can have a great product, you can have good service, but if your infrastructure is jacked, then you're not going anywhere. The third thing, it has to be simple. It has to be simple where people get it. Like you see a Tesla electric car, fast ass electric car. I mean, it's just a Tesla fast ass electric. Boom. Apple, great computer products, watches, iPhones. It has to be, you see the brand, you know what they do. It has to be that simple. Waffle House, same kind of breakfast, scattered, smothered. It has to be simple. And meaning that it could be complex internally, but when you market it or put it out there for your crowd, it has to be really, really simple, easy to grasp. People don't have to, no one wants to think about giving you money. It has to be that easy where there's no friction. Just give you an ideal of like the iWatch. And no, the iPhone has sold over 1 billion phones. Over 1 billion phones. That's crazy. There is only 7 billion people on the planet, and they've sold 1/7 of that number. That is staggering. That is absolutely staggering. So it's got to be really, really simple. And for scale, you got to be able to scale. Now, let's go through the steps. Service. If you don't have service, because many people will try to get to the point of scaling. And this is, one of the questions that I get that lets me know that someone wants to scale before they have service, before they have structure, before they have simplicity, is they'll ask, what platform should I use? And it really doesn't matter if your service, and I'm gonna be very repetitive here, if your structure, your simplicity are there, then you can scale on any platform. You can scale anywhere. It's just like that. You can do that, right? And for many of you who've been here, the last, I guess we're in the 9th week where I've been rebuilding the channel. Like someone will remodel a bathroom or remodel their home. I've been remodeling Hustlers Kung Fu. And reason I'm remodeling Hustlers Kung Fu is I'm following the advice that I gave to you. Step 1, service. 2, structure. 3, simplicity. 4, scale. Now, one of the things that's problematic for many people is when you start getting into scaling properly. Because you just can't. And I'm going to give you an example. See, this is something else too. We don't get to hustler porn. I am telling you, showing you, and doing congruently. So you get to see all of this stuff as it goes down. Because one of the things that you have to understand, when I'm giving you are principles and elements that are applicable to many different businesses, it doesn't really matter what your business is. You still got to serve somebody, build a structure. It still has to be simple, and then you can scale. But you cannot leapfrog over service to scaling. Damon John was talking about how he and some partners invested like $7 million in this apparel company, and it went bust. They had the money for the infrastructure. They had the ability to scale, but simplicity wasn't there and the service wasn't there. And he said, we lost millions. We lost millions, right? And I don't think many people get that or understand how important that is for you to have all of those features together. It's very important. What's up, people? Go to the folks in the chat room. We got Takira, who wanted me to dab. No dabbing here. Charlatan, Magic Jelly Beans. We have no Magic Jelly Beans. Shalise, what's up? What's up, Diana? Yeah, the 4S's. That's what I was going to put in the title, but nobody knows what the hell 4S's is until after they watch the video. But if I had put that in the 4S's, they'd be like, what the fuck is that? But yeah, that's pretty much it. You got to have service, structure, simplicity, and scale. You can't get around that. You just can't. So it becomes really interesting when you're watching hustler porn, because I was listening to a podcast, and then they came out with these YouTube channels that were good for business. And business is such a wide spectrum of concepts and ideals that it was just so many different channels, because business is selling, it's marketing, it's branding, it's product development, it's business development, it's finances, it's legal entities. There's so many things that are part of business. And I was looking at the channels, and something stood out. Out of all of the channels, I think it was 20 or 25, there were only 4 people who had literally started $1,000,000 businesses out here in the real world on that list. Only 4. Everyone else were influencers. I'm not saying it's bad, but there's a lot. It's really different talking about something and then talking about something you've done. There is a talk about, but they're so good, they're so well studied, they're so well versed, they're so connected that you would think that they are, hence the hustler porn. It's everywhere. It's an epidemic. And because I was having this conversation with another internet marketer who we know a lot of the same people, and we know that many of these folks are making 6 figures but perpetrating like they're making 7. And I could tell you, because just from conversations, I know what the lease is on the Porsche. It's $1,500 a month. That's a lot of money. That's more than a lot of people's mortgages in the Southeast. But for someone making six figures, that's doable. That's more than doable. That's easy. That's just something that they can make happen. So you are checking out the hustler porn, right? You see the Porsche or the Ferrari, but you never see a lot of these guys' houses because, Ty Lopez gets a whole bunch of stuff about me and my garage in the backyard, but at least he's got a mansion. Whether he's renting it or not, he's got the money to afford it. Now, you have so many things that are out here that distract you from the real principles, because one of the things I like to do is go back and look at people who built businesses before technology, because those principles don't change. Technology is a lever. It's something that you can leverage, but you don't get away from service, structure, simplicity, and scale. You just don't get away from that. You don't. Benjamin Hotep, they fronting. I mean, this is something I saw the other day. I saw a screenshot of someone that was saying they were making $1 million a month. I know this person. I know where they live. And, I just went ahead and said, okay, why are you saying that? And it's like, well, everyone else is. And I'm like, you know what? Don't hate the player. Don't hate the game. Learn the rules so you can win, right? So that's their interpretation of the game, and that's their interpretations of the rules. I'm just saying, because I was just like, you know what you're doing, and there's some other heat that can come your way too, Internal Revenue Service heat, because they're checking out these online people, but I am distracting them a little bit off. But the whole thing is, if you want to get on the path of wealth, you need to spend as much time building up your service as possible. That is it. You have people. I left a group because philosophically I did not agree with a lot of the stuff that was going down, because anyone that has started the business and has been successful knows there's a lot of things that come your way. And it's I just saw this thing that people were getting false praise. They were spending a grip, $2,500 for the course. And I remember one person liked some of my posts in the group, and then we sat down and I was like, well, I can help you do this and this and this. And then when I hit them with the fee, they said, I'm broke because I put this course on 2 credit cards. And I was like, whoa, you've never heard me ever in 8 years say, get in debt to afford my products. I would not do that to you. That is irresponsible. That is reckless. If you don't have the money to buy one of my products, don't buy it. Don't put it on your credit card. Don't put yourself in debt. That's not going to help you, because what it's going to do is induce this paranoia and this mania where people are just going to go crazy. Diana Thompson, that is reckless spending if it's not building interest. Spending is a tricky animal. I believe in taking out loans for businesses. I know Mark Cuban doesn't, but I do. And there's many businesses that have made more money than he has by taking out loans. So it just really depends on the person. It depends upon what they're doing. It depends upon so many things, right? But if you want to get on that path and you want to start developing those 4 steps, you've got to work on your service like a motherfucker. You've got to be on your service like crazy. Your service has got to be so over the top, because there's so much noise out here that it will, you'll get lost in the shuffle. You'll get totally lost in the shuffle. With one of the things that I'm doing, like my video marketing tribe, that's really for people who want to do video marketing. It's not for everybody. So it's an expensive group, and increase your service, you got to do things. And, let's see, we got people talking about Ramit said he will kick you out. He ain't paying credit card lifestyle. Don't do it. Business lines of credit. If you can pay it right back, get it. Like if you can get a loan for 100 grand and pay that back in a year, do it. That's not going to kill you. The interest rate, I mean, even if the interest rate's high, it's still not going to kill you because you're paying it back so fast. But you borrow 100 grand and take 10 years to pay it back. Yeah, you got a problem. You got a lot of problems. But it's just incumbent upon you to know where your business is and the things that you're doing to grow your business. It's just so much that goes into that people don't talk about that is very, very important. It's very, very much the beginning and the end of your business, because I got people here, and this is no lie, this is not a brag, who have been on this channel and who've used the stuff that I've been putting out here in these conversations like I'm having with you tonight, and they've made six figures. Now, the difference between that person and someone else is they're highly motivated. They're very, very disciplined. See, it's not even a matter of you being smart or not. That has nothing to do with it. It's really about how disciplined you are, what kind of ethical, not even ethics, just work habits and a certain level. Now, where's the service kit? And start learning about principles of money, setting up your LLC, business banking. There's a lot of service here, a lot of service. And I'm not even going to give you that thing, because I got like 9 million plus views collectively. I know that it's not 9 million people. What it is probably a good 200,000 or 300,000 who have probably watched 80% of the videos over and over again. That's where I'm getting a lot of my views from, because when I see comments, I've had people comment for years, but part of the service is you're going to need today a lot of content. If you're going to be an online marketer, you're going to need a lot of content or a lot of money to buy ads. And you may need a better version is a combination of both, because when you're out here, you're going to need some organic traffic, because you can use your organic traffic to test your concepts before you start throwing money. But there's so many people, once again, the reason I got that group, because philosophically I did not agree with what was going on, that they had to spend money to get the program. They had to spend money on paid traffic, and you could easily blow $10,000 to $20,000 just dialing in your funnel. Easy, no problem. Facebook, Google Display Network, YouTube ads, easily. And, they tell people that these ads are simple, and they're really not. All right, get back to it. We got service here, right? The front page is service. Now, this is where we get to the simplicity. When you come here, how to start a business. I had all kinds of stuff up there that if you were part of the G-verse, you already knew this stuff, right? But if you're brand new, you just found the video and you're like, okay, I like this. What is this guy about? What is he bringing here? And then you come here, and then there was all this esoteric stuff, industry lingo that no one knew unless they were part of the G-verse, that kind of threw people. So how to start a business. Now, this is industry hustleology, high-level hustler concepts. You know what that is? How to make money with a job. Simple. And Hustlenomics starts on the money game, a little version, but still, once again, simple. The law of attraction set, and you're brand new. You don't know what that is, but everyone knows what the law of attraction is, and everyone knows what personal development is, which is congruent with the hustler's mindset, because it's about personal development. And then, there's uploads, then how to start an online business. I put it like that because a lot of people search for that exact term. They don't go and, they go a. And then America Hustler Lectures, which will get in full force in 2017. But essentially, you can come here, figure it out very quickly, come to the channel, tips on how to make money without a job. New videos Monday through Thursday. Boom, 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 boom. So you got to have that simplicity. It's got to be there, because people are not going to wait on you to explain it. It's going to be rough. It's like going to be rough out here trying to. So let's see what we have here. looking at the questions for someone that comes in here a lot later. This is live right now, but later on it will not be live. And under the video, it says this was streamed X amount of days ago. Eric Williams, I know a friend personally dropped $30K for a year traveling in hopes of creating a travel blog book. Folks do it a lot. Benjamin, I am one. Diana, I am one. Are you talking about watching all these videos over and over again? Yeah, a lot of people do that. They're designed that way. But you got to have that simplicity. And some other stuff that's happening that, people aren't really letting you in on it is all of the rules have changed for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's this thing called Advertising Week that happened not too long ago. And they put out a lot of these changes that will filter out to all their people, in a few weeks, a few months. But, during the process of my rebuild as my act of service, I saw these changes. I saw them in effect. And they were just like, oh, my God, Becky, look at the algorithm. I mean, it was maddening because so many things that I discovered because I was in the factory, on the factory floor. Let's say it like that. I was doing the factory work. I was learning and earning where it happened. And you have so many people who just don't know what's going on. Now, that's the service part. The channel is the service, because I'm going to give you the whole game plan so you will know what I'm doing and you can just watch me and model after me. Now, the second thing is the infrastructure. Due to the fact that the service was not high enough, I have people who are like, hey, there's too many videos. It was funny. Someone put a comment, just post one video a day. And I just said no. And that was it. I didn't get into it. And then someone just went back and lost their mind going, bah. But that's part of me increasing my service, because the more videos I put out, the more views I get, the more service I have. But we get to the next part, which is the structure. And my structure was better 2009, 2010, 11, and 12. I got a little funky around 13 and 14 and start kind of cleaning it up in 15. And now I'm really cleaned it up because my structure was so robust that I could handle the spikes and stuff because it was very simple. Didn't have a lot of moving parts. It was just like, hey, here's the video, here's a link, go buy. It was just super, super simple. Then I got into all this complex stuff that I didn't really need to, because I have some that a lot of folks don't have, and I didn't really appreciate that. But that's the thing about the structure, because if you have this great idea, and I was talking to someone a few months ago who does hair, and I really have this conversation with anyone that comes to me for consulting with hair. It's like, if you're not willing to hire people and open up a salon, I can't help you. You can, as a hairstylist, you can be the most amazing hairstylist in the world, but there's only one of you, and there's only 24 hours in a day, and there's only so many heads you can put your hands in. Like Benjamin Hotep, he got a barbershop but no barbers. Yeah, I read all the comments. I may not answer them, but I read them all. And yeah, I left money on the table because it was complicated. And the new thing is disruptive service. $10 a month if you're on the email list. If you come in late and you just buy off the channel, everything's like 50% more. And you just get more by being on the email list. Disruptive service, beginning hustlers, $10 a month. Culturally hustler, that's my intermediate level of instruction. And then video marketing therapy, which is the higher end stuff. That's where I'll include ebooks, course creation, how to do a YouTube channel, video marketing, paid traffic, just stuff that somebody who's just really getting into internet marketing is like, it's too much. Like I saw in that group, I saw people literally losing their minds. One dude's like, for about 6 weeks, he's like, I've been putting in 20 hours a day. I'm going to make it happen. Then he blew his wad on some Facebook ads, and he didn't post anymore. He ran out of gas. He totally ran out of gas. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Shalise Himley. What? What are you talking about? Yes, it gets hectic when you only do hair. I have to go digital. I mean, the hair thing is, you got to have the ability to hire a team and manage a team if you want to make a lot of money doing hair. Your goal is to get to the point, and I saw this young lady years ago when I had hair. I was stationed at Fort McPherson, and there was this salon on Campbellton Road, right? And I went in there, and her name was Kiana. I remember her name. It was Kiana's salon. And one thing I noticed about her, she never did hair. She would be in there a lot. She come and go as she pleased, and she had booths and she rented them out, but she never did hair. And she was driving 525 back then. I think she was like 24, 25. And just to show you that those principles just don't change, because time changes. We have the internet and we have all this other stuff. Things don't change like you would think they would. They just don't. And people have to understand that, because one of the things that is holding so many people back is a fundamental lacking of infrastructure. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it. If you don't have the right infrastructure, it's just not going to go where you want it to go. It's just not. That's just a reality that many folks are just not telling you about, because Facebook ads can be great and they can be wonderful. But see, one of the things that I have noticed about them is if you don't have a high ticket or a high, a product with a very high price tag, it can be brutal. It can be brutal. I literally listened to a podcast where it was talking about spending 10 grand, $6,000 to make a $4,000 profit. That is very much to physical business type margins. That's a lot of overhead. It's, whether it's digital overhead or not, it's still overhead, and it still has to be paid, and it's still costing you money. So I was like, that was just too much. It was just too much in my opinion. Let's see. What we got here. By the way, I started 30 days to 2,500. I made a sale, so I was excited when I got the alert. Like I said, and this is my saying, if you do the work, you'll make the money. And we have a lot of people who are afraid of doing the work. They don't want to do the work. They want to be, quote, management before they even learn how to manage themselves, which is problematic. But congratulations on that, Jen. My sister, Erica, trying to go there, her hands starting to hurt, and she's 30. It'll be rough. Benjamin, thanks, Glendon. You be giving it up. Let's see. Issy. Hello, Glendon. You've been a great mentor to me. Your stuff from the Craigslist books and storage auction books still have good, sound business advice. Yeah, they do. That's how I built my business. And the thing is, you take out the storage auction stuff and just look at the business principles. But so many people have romantic notions about what they want to do. And this romantic notion trips them up because they can't look behind the lines. Because I had a guy who bought that storage auction book and he used it to start a car lot. And he said, man, just some of that things I thought a little different. I started doing stuff different than other folks, and I was able to get my license and started a car lot from storage auction books. How you going to open a barber shop and have no barbers? That's crazy. You need more than one person where there's a barber or beauty shop. Actually, I don't know how he got in that situation. I just know that but the one thing in Benjamin's favor is he has more than one business. So, he's got a detail shop, and I think he has 2 or 3 locations. So he's got a lot of stuff that's going on. Jen, someone bought a meal plan from me. All right, let's stick with Jen. All right. Now, Jen went to, going through 30 days, 2,500, and it's a very quirky course. Okay. It's very, very quirky. But if you go ahead and do the exercises, which, sound like they're just not like any other business course, you will make money. You will make money. I can't say how much because I don't know what you're selling on where you are, but you will make money. And you'll make way more money than the course will cost you. Way more money. And that's one of the things that gets me with some people, because a guy told me in the comments, he said, if I spend like $1,000 with you, I need to make 30,000 off that. I was like, what fucking universe are you coming from? Sometimes those kind of returns happen. They happen, but that's not normal to spend $1,000 and make $30,000 unless you've spent thousands and thousands building something else, and then you've got it dialed in where it's automated. So every time you make a sale, then your cost of acquisition of customers goes down. Let's see. Using VR to sell products and services. Is there a future in it? I don't know. I got a firm rule here. Anything I don't know about, I haven't looked, because I know VR is going to be hot. Sony's got a phone and a reader and all this other stuff. But I think if you do VR like Nintendo did, because I think they made like 7 million their first week when Pokemon Go was released. Yeah, that can make money. But look, how long has Nintendo been in business? How long have they been in business, right? So you've got that. But that infrastructure is critical. It is so critical. And that's like hiring barbers. That's like hiring help. Because one of the things that I'm going to do is locally hire a community manager. Because, I'll just let y'all know. There's going to be 3 Facebook groups. They're all paid. For the folks who find me and then try to get in the group, every group I have is paid. And there's a reason. I'll go into that in a little later. But typically, when you are building something and when you are putting together something that you want to be bigger than you, you have to get components that are bigger than you. And I'm not using a virtual assistant. I'm not using someone that's, in the group or online. I'm going to actually hire someone, and they're going to be like a community manager, just pretty much someone to answer questions, someone you can contact and stuff like that. Let's see. Congrats. Jen, should I get into Disruptive Circus or Culturally Hustler? Well, better question. What exactly are you trying to do? Yeah, see, and this is something else too, because I'm going to go ahead. You got Tony here who sells equipment. Jen's hustling. And Benjamin's hustling. And Erica's hustling. I'm just going down here. See, when you have people, and that's one of the things I liked about the group that was part of, I just philosophically had the problem with some of their practices. Everybody was in there doing something, so the conversation was totally different. It's totally different conversation. Well, you just don't get that when you have a bunch of people who are in that wannabe mode. I want to be a business owner. I want to do this. You get really static, stale, boring ass conversation. Anybody can say, I have a dream. I want to do something. Anybody can do that. But the people who actually take action and move forward, now that's something special. Let's see what we got in here. Yeah, just, what do you want to do, Jen? Because, all right, I'll give you since you asked, I'm going to give you a little breakdown. For Disruptive Circus, that's going to be, because I have a lot of young men who come to this channel, right? And I'm going to tell you a story that prompted the reason I'm doing it. Years ago, I was at the service station. Matter of fact, I was at Quick Trip getting some gas, and these 2 men come up to me, right? And they said, excuse me, sir. They're very nice. And they said, could you come over here for a minute and show us where the oil cap is? At first, I thought they were messing with me. So I go over there and I say, you see this little thing with the little oil cap? Yeah, that little symbol, that's an oil can. That's where the oil goes. Oh, okay, thank you, sir. 2 dudes. There was another dude in the car. 3 young men, and none of them knew where the oil went. I'm not kidding you. 3 young men, and none of them knew where the oil went. So you have this huge disconnect of stuff that I just got. Like, I could build a house if I had to. And growing up, I know how to do roofing. I know how to do sheetrock. I can lay bricks. I can lay floor. I can do tile. I can cut tile. I can do all that stuff. That was just what dudes did when I was a kid. It's like, an older dude, he didn't even have to be your uncle or nothing. He'd be like, hey, what you doing today? I got some work for you. Next thing you know, you're laying bricks. Your arms are swole up. You got to put sheetrock up, because I remember we had an old house and the roof wasn't that well. So sometimes when it rained, it would leak. And then one day, I was sitting there eating some, Cheerios, right? No, some Scooby snacks. What was that? No, Fruit Loops. Was eating some Fruit Loops, right? And it was raining outside and the ceiling just fell in on me. And when they came to fix it, I had to help put the sheetrock up. I know how to put it up, put the putty on, sand the putty down real nice where you can't see the indentations, and then paint over it. That's just it. All right, so let's see. Jen's back. Sell online meal plans and worksheets online. Only thing I have not capitalized on was my results. I've dropped 95 pound meals and just became a certified to teach fitness coach. All right, Jen, you want to sell online. So the online for people who want to learn how to market online, for people who want to sell digital products, because what you're selling is a digital product, is a meal plan, something that you can email someone or they can log into a course. That is going to be video marketing on the video marketing tribe. And I'm going to tell you why. Biggest problem everyone has is getting traffic. I don't care how good your ideal is. I don't care what you're doing. If you can't get traffic, it's going nowhere, baby boy. It's going nowhere. So what I'm going to do, what I am doing in the video marketing tribe is teaching people how to develop video traffic. So for you, you got to develop some presence. You've got to develop, that's going to be your ticket. Going back to Disrupt the Circus, that's going to be for a lot of these young guys who come to the channel who just didn't have a brother, a father, or even a dude in the neighborhood. Because, I remember I grew up in Alabama. So, there was the steel mill and there was the coal mine. So we had dudes, right? We had dudes who did heavy labor, laid bricks. And I was literally surrounded by these dudes. Another one of my mentors, Mr. Youngblood, he owned a development company, and that's the company that goes in before the realtors. He was a developer from the dirt developer, the laying down the sewer lines and mapping out. That's what he did, and he had all that earth moving machinery. And I used to go down there because his wife, incidentally, would hold garage sales. So when I thought about that, I was like, yeah, that's kind of how I got in the storage auction business. I used to see that stuff on the weekends, and it was good, to have that kind of environment. And a lot of young dudes, they don't have that. I mean, you see dudes painting their nails with their mom and they think that's cool. Me growing up, that shit will never happen. So that's what Disruptive Circus is going to be for. The Culture Hustler is more of an upgraded mindset. We're going to get into some business tactics and some selling. I don't know where people are going to end up, because I'm going to keep talking about it, keep refining it. And essentially, it's just really inexpensive, because if you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of skill sets, more than likely you don't have a lot of money, unless somebody left you some money or mom and dad just going to kick you off. So that's why that's like that. Let's see, Meg. It was crazy, right? Because I was just stunned, and I had to pick out the roofing debris and continue to eat my Fruit Loops, because that's all I had to eat, right? But it gets rough. Let my chat go. Okay, there it is. Jen, similar to what I'm doing here, if I teach fitness, this is one me, but meal plans can be written and once and available for instant download. Erica Will, you're like the black uncle that some of these folks, yes, reminds me of uncles, military cops, no BS. Send me all of these long love letters that I just can't. Some women, because there'll be some women in there, I know, even though I said it's for men, there'll be some women, and point people in the right direction. But for people who want to do what I do, selling digital products, I'm going to teach you what I know. I'm going to learn. I'm actually going to a conference very soon where I'll learn some more about Facebook ads, but I don't talk about stuff I don't do. I've never done a Facebook ad. So I'm not going to sit here and tell. I know I've been by people who've done really well, but once again, I know people who've lost their ass. And, there's one group I'm in, I signed an NDA, and I can't talk about that stuff without getting sued. But I can tell you, some of those people, some of them have asses. Steven Jackson, I said that to somebody, he reminded me of my uncles. That's funny as hell. And typically when we get into the simplicity, because that's something that is ever changing, because I'll go back real quick and show you something else, because I got somebody who can what I'm doing with the new channel, because it's service, infrastructure, simplicity, scale. Now, one of the problems on this channel that is very, very easy to get without some guides. And one of the things simple as possible. I don't do Facebook ads, but I do know that if you have a lot of text, they will penalize your ad, which means you will pay Facebook to run an ad that will not get the reach it should because you've got too much text in your image. And there's just a relationship. So I took that information and I try to keep the text to a minimum, and I just put, a catching image. Creatives, art, correct form, overhead press. How to create passion, the tango. You just started business advice, your drill instructor, major general advice. Let's talk about money. A little girl holding a bunch of money with her finger up. I mean, that just command. Some of these got released today, and this one really well. And this one started to kick his ass, and it's because of the simplicity, and that this is part of branding. Because your branding can be very complex internally, but when someone sees the cover and this is the cover, it's got to be super simple. And that's something that I continue to work on and struggle with, because I have all of these concepts, but I know one thing is it's going to stay with the white background because I'm trying to get the best images possible. How to use failure as a lever. There's a lever right there. And see, your mind can make that connection really quickly because it's like lever and lever. I mean, your mind connects dots that are presented properly very, very quickly. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing that. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. I haven't really changed a lot, because I want to change stuff, but I know that people will. That I'm trying something new. Normally I do these in 720. I got it. What's funny about it, but on the playback, whoa, it went way down. On the playback, it may look better. This is what happens when you do live stuff. Let's. I have no idea what you're. I know nothing about what you're. So I'm gonna stop general. Hey, this one size fits all kind of answers. So I have no answer for you. What's up, Lamode? Okay, so that was just to kind of give people some overviews of some hope. You got 3 groups, and they're all in, and pick what you want. And I mean, Disrupt Circus is $10. $10. Try it out if you want to move up to the culturally hustler. That's well, if you're on the email list, prices below are 50%. So if you want to get in on the deals, you get on in the email list, you join, you'll get an email saying, hey, here are these special deals for you, blah, blah, blah. So all of the links. All right, are we still having technical? Yeah, we're still having technical issues. It's moving a little faster. So I'm going to end this. And like I said, this was just an experiment. And yeah, we're doing 1.56 frames per second. So maybe doing 1080p. Well, I don't know. It just kind of started acting up. I don't know why. I'll have to check on that. But for those of you who want to come in and start, if you're a beginning hustler, that is Disruptive Circus. If you're intermediate, that's going to be Culturally Hustler. And if you want to do digital products, ebooks, video marketing, things like that, that's the Video Marketing Tribe. All of the groups work, to get in, same thing. You go below, you subscribe, you friend me on Facebook, send me a message saying, if I see what you did and I can find you on Facebook, because some people, you got all these multiple identities and nicknames and stuff, so I can't find you. That's why I say friend me and message me so I know who you are, because many people have so many different, like I said, identities and stuff. All right. Did that calm down? Yeah, I'm kind of freezing. 12 rollouts. What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's moving. But anyway, I'm going to say thanks.